In the name of Almighty God, the most compassionate and the most merciful, I welcome you all, my dear, lovely friends from all over the world. By the way, we have got this week question. It's a very simple question. We have a function of gx. It is an integration from the lower limit is sine x, the upper limit is sine 2x, sine inverse of t dt. Now the question is, which one of these answers is or are correct? It means it's a multiple choice. Maybe one answer is correct, maybe two answers, or maybe three or four, or maybe none of them. Now, how can we solve? We have got two options or two choices. First, we have this function. First, you have to find what this function is. This function is equal to the calculation of this integration. Now, calculate this integration. When you calculate this one, the answer is the function of gx. Now, the question is not gx. The question is the derivative of the gx, and instead of x, you have to put pi divided by 2 or maybe minus pi divided by 2. Another choice that we have a very simple formula for the derivative of an integration function. I mean, it's very important. If you have a function of fx, which is from u up to v, the limits, the lower limit is u and the upper limit is v, and ft dt. Now, how can you calculate the integration of this function? The integration is, we have a formula, f prime of x is, first in this function, instead of t, you have to put v. I mean fv. Second, take the derivative of the upper limit. It is v prime minus, now instead of t you have to put u, it's fu, and now take the derivative of the u, it is u prime. This is the formula that you can calculate the derivative of an integration. I mean, now what is the question? The question is gx is equal from sine x up to sine 2x sine inverse of t dt. Now, the question is the derivative of this function. The derivative of this function is, first, in the function, instead of variable, you have to put the upper limit. I mean sine inverse, instead of t, you have to put sine 2x. Now, we have sine inverse, instead of t, this is the variable. You have to put this limit, the upper limit. It is sine 2x times v prime. What does it mean? It means you have to take the derivative of this one. What's the derivative of the sine 2x? I think it is 2 cosine 2x. Am I right? The sine cosine 2x, and the derivative of the 2x, it's a number which is the coefficient of this x, 2x, 2. Minus, this is minus. Now, if you, what does it mean? In this function, instead of the variable, you have to put the lower limit. Now, what the function is? Sine inverse, instead of t, you have to put this sine x. Sorry, sine inverse, instead of t, you have to put this one, sine x. times u dash. What does it mean, u dash? U prime? U prime, it means you have to take the derivative of this sign. What's the derivative? It is cosine x. And the derivative of the x, it's 1. Now, one thing more. We have this combination of the function sine inverse with its sine. What is the combination of a function with its inverse? It is the number which we have. I mean, you can cancel this one. I think if we have f minus of u, you can cancel this one. This is a rule in combination of the functions. Now, this sine to the power minus 1, I mean sine inverse with this one, they are inverse of each other. The combination of these two, it is the number which we have in here, or the value which we have in here. I think it's g prime of x is 2x. 2x times 2, it's 4x. Cosine 2x minus, we can cancel this one also. Why? Because we have a combination of a function with its inverse. Now we have x cosine x. This is the function which we find. Now, instead of x, you have to put pi divided by 2 first. We have to check the first answer. G prime of pi divided by 2. Instead of x, you have to put this one. 4 pi divided by 2. Cosine 2 instead of x, pi divided by 2. Minus x pi divided by 2. Cosine pi divided by 2. Now, we can cancel this one. And g dash of pi divided by 2 is, you can cancel this one. Now we have cosine of pi. What's cosine of pi? It's minus 1. Minus 1 times 2 pi, it's minus 2 pi. Am I right? Minus, what's cosine of pi divided by 2? Cosine of 90, it's 0. 0 times this one, it's 0. Now we have g prime of pi divided by 2, it is minus 2 pi. Which answer is right? I think number 1 is correct. Number 1 is correct. Now, you have to check also minus pi divided by 2. Pi divided by 2, pi divided by 2, 2 pi, we have minus 2 pi. Minus 2 pi is correct. Now, you have to check minus pi divided by 2. Number 2, you have to check. Now, instead of g prime pi minus pi divided by 2, instead of x, you have to put minus pi divided by 2 is equal to 4 instead of x minus pi divided by 2 times cosine 2 minus pi divided by 2 minus instead of x minus pi divided by 2 and cosine instead of x minus pi divided by 2. Am I right? Yes. Now we have g prime of minus pi divided by 2. You can cancel this one. 2 with the 4, it is 2. 2 times minus pi, it's minus 2 pi. And we can cancel this one. What's cosine of minus pi? Cosine of minus pi. Minus doesn't mean anything to the cosine. It means cosine of minus alpha, it is equal to cosine of alpha, I mean cosine of pi, minus, with this minus, it's positive, pi divided by 2, and you can cancel this minus, cosine pi divided by 2. I mean, what is the sine of manfi alpha, minus alpha? It is minus sine alpha. What is cosine of minus alpha, it is cosine alpha, plus cosine alpha. Am I right? Yes. Now we have g times g prime of minus pi divided by 2. What's cosine of pi? It's minus 1. Minus 1 with this minus 2 pi, it's plus 2 pi. And in here we have, this answer is 0. 0 times with the pi divided by 2, it's again 0. Now g dash of minus pi divided by 2, 0 plus 2 pi, it's 2 pi. G dash of minus pi divided by 2, it's 2 pi. I think number 2 is also correct. Should I check number 3? No. Why? Because number 3, g prime of pi divided by 2, the answer is not 2 pi, it's minus 2 pi, which is the first one. So this is not correct. And g prime of minus pi divided by 2, it is plus 2 pi, not minus 2 pi. I think this one is not correct. Finished. By the way, Allah Hafiz.